Let's examine a card from the game. Let's take a look at the boy. There's a couple elements on this card that we want to pay close attention to. At the top left, we have what's called a card's power. The color surrounding it indicates its rarity. A gold color indicates a legendary card, a card that's pretty powerful. The boy has a power of 5, which means that it's a pretty strong card in the set. It can go toe-to-toe with most cards in the set and destroy them with raw power. On the top right of the card, we have an affiliation marker. The boy can choose between tech or nature orientation. That's why it has 2 symbols. Meanwhile, other cards will only have 1 symbol to indicate their affiliation. You can use the affiliation to set up combos and create a new board state based on this. In addition to affiliations, we have a typing. The boy's type is warrior. There's a symbol at the top left that indicates what type the card is. In addition, it's spelled out under the name of the card. Let's examine the boy's actions. The boy can perform 3 different actions on its activation. The first action would be to just attack with its raw power. It will be able to destroy anything with less than 5 power with just an attack, or it can trade and destroy itself along with an opposing card of the same power. In addition to that, it can use its active ability. The boy's active ability is to destroy a boss. So if your opponent controls a Mechivore card, which is the only boss in the set, it can instantly destroy this card, making it a very powerful card to control the board. In addition, it has a passive effect. At the start of each round, you may declare your affiliation to nature or tech. That allows you to create combos on your turn, because other cards in the set will require you to have a certain affiliation type to make combos. The number on the bottom left of the card indicates the number of card in the set, and it does not interfere with the actual gameplay experience.
Alright guys, so welcome to Mask of Semblance trading card game. Now we're going to get started on playing a quick game to show you how the game mechanics work. Now the objective of the game is to eliminate your opponent's board. And you do that by using the power on the cards located on the top left, or using the active abilities or passive abilities to manipulate the board state and gain an advantage in the game to close it out and make sure that your opponent has no cards left at the end of their turn. If your opponent has a face down card at the end of their turn, they're still not out of the game. So make sure you deal with that on the turns following. Now just note that the board can only contain 5 cards on either side, so make sure that you don't exceed more than 5 cards on your side. Now let's get started. We're going to get started here by shuffling both of the decks. We're going to draw 3 cards each. The player with the highest power on the flip will end up going second. I'm going to place my cards face down from left to right. Because my cards activate from left to right, I want to make sure the card I want to go first is on the left side. And Nick is my opponent. He'll be putting his cards down face down as well. So now we've got our cards laid out. We're basically playing a mind game here. I don't know what Nick is playing, and Nick doesn't know what I have face down. Let's start, and we're going to flip our cards from left to right. Just remember that this step is only done at the beginning of the game. Any cards drawn from the deck will go face down on the left side of the field, and you'll be shifting all your cards to the right to make sure you accommodate for that space. It looks like I have the field with the higher power. His highest power is 3, so he'll be going first at the start of this turn. Cards will activate from left to right. So because my opponent is going first, his leftmost card will activate first. After his Sprigget goes, it'll be my card's turn to go first from left to right. So let's just run through it real quick. After this Sprigget goes, then my boy will go. Then Bune will go. Then my Sprigget will go. Then his Mask will go. And then my Grom will go. Every card on your board must be activated during the round. And a round consists of all the cards going through an activation. So now, let's start with the Sprigget. Nick has 3 options. He can either attack using its power, the number on the top left, or he can use its active ability, or he can pass. The passive ability on the card will be active at all times. So no matter whether he's attacking, or he's passing, or he's using an active ability, his passive will always be in effect. So make sure you read the passives on the cards. They'll give you a significant advantage in the game. So Nick is going to make an action with his Sprigget. Let's take a look at the Sprigget card briefly. Alright, so it has an active ability that lets you draw a card and place it at the far left of the board, face down until the next round. In addition, it has a passive effect, and it has +1 power for each other nature card you control this round. So let's take a look at its passive and see how it's affecting the Sprigget's power. Nick's board contains one other nature card, so the Sprigget's power is now at 3. So his Sprigget could effectively try to take out something using its power on my board, but my board also contains a Sprigget. And I also have the boy and I have the Grom. Grom is nature, and the boy can choose to be nature at the start of the round. So attacking would not be very effective in this case. So we're going to actually use the Sprigget's ability to draw a card from the deck and invest in the turns that are coming. Now that I've got my card drawn, this Sprigget's action has already been taken. So we move the card up slightly to indicate that it's been activated.
Any card drawn from the deck is placed at the left side of the field. It's flipped and activated at the start of the next round. So for now, it lies dormant. But in doing so, Nick has also invested in his future turns to allow for a bigger impact down the line. Now it's my turn. My boy's going to go first. The boy's active says that he can instantly destroy a boss card. My opponent doesn't have any boss cards, so it looks like I'm going to have to attack something with my raw power of 5. Now I got to examine here, what is the biggest threat to me? We got the Sprigget. If I don't clear this card, he's going to be able to draw and keep drawing out the game every turn. So this is a pretty high threat card. Bune. Bune can protect any of his 2 cards. If I allow Bune to activate his ability to protect a card next turn, I could potentially lose my boy card because this card over here, the Mask. The Mask can instantly destroy a warrior, and my boy is a warrior type. So on my turn, I'm actually going to destroy the Mask to make sure that my opponent can't use its ability later. So now that my boy card is gone, I'm going to push it forward to indicate that I've activated it. Now, let's look at the effect I've had on my opponent's board. I've cleared a card at the end of his board, on the most right side of the board, which means that his entire turn of cards has been decreased. Instead of having a 3rd card which he can activate, he now only has 2 cards that he can activate this turn. You can use this strategy to your advantage to make sure that your opponent has less cards to activate by destroying cards to the rightmost of their field. Now, let's move forward. It's Nick's turn to activate Bune. So Bune has an active ability where it can protect another card on his board, and it has a power of 3, while also being a nature card. So, because Bune cannot actively destroy anything on my side of the field without killing itself, it's going to use its ability to protect the Sprigget from dying. So now Bune has activated its ability, and the Sprigget is protected from dying. The Sprigget, while protected, can trade with any card with equal power. That means that it can attack any card with a similar power and survive the attack, while the other card is destroyed. In addition, any cards targeting a card, such as attacking or using an active ability on a card, will be negated on this Sprigget for the rest of this round. Now Bune is gone, it'll be my turn to activate my Sprigget. Because I declared my boy as a nature card this turn, my Sprigget now has a power of 4 because I have a Grom nature affiliated card and I have my boy affiliated as nature. So the Sprigget has 4 attack because of its passive, which it says has +1 power for each other nature card you control this round. So now I have 2 choices. I can either invest in my future turns, or I can choose to start getting rid of his board. Because I already have a slight advantage on the board, I'm actually going to use the Sprigget's power of 4 to kill Bune, because it's unprotected. Now look at the board state again. I've eliminated 2 of the cards on my board following the Sprigget, which gave him only access to 2 cards that could activate this turn. And now his board is even smaller. So now, since there are no cards on my opponent's side of the board, I get to go again. Remember, all cards need to have an action during a round. So I'm going to use Grom's active ability. If you control another nature card, you can destroy Grom and draw 2 cards and place them on the far side of the board, face down on the left. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to use Grom's active ability. I'm going to destroy him, And that'll allow me to draw 2 cards from my deck and place them face down. So I've invested in my future turns. I've got 4 cards on the board and my opponent has 2. This is the end of the round. All cards return to their original positions and everything moves down to the right to allow for space for new cards to come into play. At the start of the round, we're going to both draw a card and place it face down like this. I've got 5 cards, which is the max. Nick has only 3, so I have a clear advantage in this game currently. So we're going to flip our cards here. Because my card was the last one to go last round, Nick will start this turn off. So Nick's starting card is Grom. Because Nick is down currently in the race, it might be smart for him to sacrifice his Grom because he has the opportunity to do so right now. So he's going to destroy his Grom because he's got a Sprigget in play that is nature oriented. This allows him to invest in the turns coming up. As you can see, Nick has run out of cards in his deck. So the next time he has to draw a card, he will be shuffling his discard pile and playing those cards again. The cards in the game will be recycled continuously until someone's board has been reduced to no cards. So let's continue. We have Bune here. He is my first card. I'm actually going to use Bune to attack Nick's Sprigget. That'll make it so that Nick can't invest in his future turns with the Sprigget anymore. Now that my Sprigget's gone, it's Nick's turn to activate his Mechivore because it's the last card on his side of his field. So Nick is actually going to use his Mechivore to attack my boy card because the boy card can instantly destroy Mechivore. So in that way, he's neutralized a threat on my board that would have easily destroyed Mechivore. So now that Nick is gone, he has no more cards to activate, but my field still has 3 cards left to activate. So I'm going to run down my field and make sure I activate every single card in order. Sola. Her active ability is that she can destroy a face-down card. So I'm going to use this active ability and destroy one of Nick's face-down cards. I'll choose the middle one. I've destroyed another Sola, which is actually a pretty threatening card. Sola is an interesting card because she works best at the end of the lineup. Because every card destroyed this round, she gets +1 power. So let's try to see if we can use the mask here. It doesn't look like we can do anything with the mask this turn, so we'll just have to pass. The Sprigget can't really do much this turn either. It could potentially attack Mechivore, but that would be useless. And using its ability wouldn't really matter because I'm going to draw next turn anyway. So I'm just going to pass with my Sprigget. Because I'm the last one to go this round, Nick will start the next turn. So let's draw for the start of the next round. Nick will be shuffling his discard pile to make sure he has cards to play with this turn. It's the start of a new round. Once again, we place on the far left and we flip to begin. We fast forwarded a bit here, so we want to show you close to the end of the game here, where I've set up a win condition to defeat Nick. I'll be starting off this turn. My boy is going first. I'll use his active ability to destroy a boss. Mechivore is the boss that I'm going to destroy. It's Nick's turn. Nick will attack with Grom at Bune. Bune is destroyed by raw power. Now that Bune's been destroyed, Sola's power is increased to 5. Utilizing her at the end of the line is very important because that's where she's the strongest. Now that Sola's power is 5, I can equally trade with Grom and have them both be destroyed. So I'm going to attack with Sola's power and the both of them will be destroyed. Now all that's left is the boy. I've won the game.